What's happening? It's John from Long Island punk band Wrecked. It's Friday the 13th, January 13th, 2023. It's been a while since I've made one of these videos, but I did get a bunch of new stuff, and I'd like to show it to you. I have 5 of them sitting right here. A little bit of band news. Mark your calendar for February 18th, Mr. Beery's. We're going to be playing with a band called Drunken Frankenstein. They had, I think I might have played with them years ago, but either way, they reached out to us to do a gig, and we said yes, and we got some new stuff, we got some new originals we'd like to try out anyhow, so mark your calendar again, February 18th. Might be playing February 4th also, but that hasn't been confirmed yet, but February 18th, come check us out, Mr. Beery's. So yeah, like I said, I got 5 of the new records that I got over the past few months. I'd like to show them to you. I'll start off with this one here. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Chronicle, a double album, greatest hits album. There's not much to say about Creedence. If you're my age or a little older, or maybe even a little younger, you can't avoid Creedence Clearwater Revival. You know every one of their songs. They had, I don't know how many top 10 hits they had, but they had a shit ton. This is the greatest hits album, Chronicle, double album. I typically avoid greatest hits albums because I find more often than not that they're not really representative of the band as much. I got burned years back by buying a Doors greatest hits, and of course it had every song that you know. And then, I'd hear these other gems for here and there. I'm like, wait, I don't have this. It's not on the greatest hits album. And, so sure enough, I found out the hard way. Just buy the records, So that's what I try to do. But anyways, you can't go wrong with this. Every song is good on this. Got Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, Susie Q, Commotion, Down the Corner, Fortunate Son, Traveling Band, Up Around the Bend. I mean, you know every one of these songs. My first exposure to Creedence was, I think, way back, as a kid. I was going to a Cub Scout sleepaway camp weekend type deal, Got overnight, a couple of days and a weekend, and my buddy's father on the way out there was playing Creedence, and every song was great. I remember, Bad Moon Rising. I remember, Lodi, Proud Mary, all of them. And years later, when I first started driving, I was in high school, probably 92 or 93. I was driving home, and I heard Up Around the Bend. And it starts off with this absolutely nasty guitar riff. And I was like, whoa. And after the song ended, they say, oh, that was CCR. I'm like, I don't know who CCR is. So I'd come home, and my father got home from work. I asked him, I'm like, you know who a band CCR? He's like, yeah, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I'm like, yeah, I don't know who that is. And he started playing them for me after dinner, and I'm like, oh, now I know. It's this band. And like I said, every song, I knew the words, I knew the riffs. Every song was good. It's like very close to punk rock. That's why I like it. It's easy songs, quick songs, 3 or 4 chords, to the point. I mean, John Fogerty struck gold with Creedence Clearwater Revival. John Fogerty being the, right here, being the guitar player and singer, major songwriter. Every song that they did, that he wrote, was great. And every song they chose to cover, they did a great job on. Like Heard It Through the Grapevine or Susie Q, stuff like that. But I strongly suggest if you want just easy, quick, great music, check out Creedence. You'll never go wrong with them. All right, next up, let's see what we got here. Here's a band that I got into over the pandemic, and I'm glad I did. A band called Sleigh Bells. This is an album, Texas. This came out in 2021 on, Mom and Pop Music, it's called. Sleigh Bells consists of a guitar player, mastermind, programmer, and Alexis Krauss, the singer, based out of Brooklyn, New York. The guy, I forget his name, the guitar player, the mastermind behind the Sleigh Bells band, he played for a band called Poison the Well. They were like a post-hardcore band of the early 2000s, which I was a fan of. But he put this together. It's mostly programmed drums, electronic music samples, that kind of stuff. And Alexis Krauss singing over it. Her melodies are great. Her harmonies are great. And the songs are great. Off this one, Hummingbird Bomb I love. And I love Locust Laced. They have a bunch of other albums, I think 2 or 3 other records. Again, this is most recent, and again, I have nothing bad to say about it. It's a good change from the real guitar heavy stuff I usually listen to. Now, this has guitar in it. It has heavy guitar, but it's not up front mostly. This is just very rhythmic, very driving music. It's almost like, I don't even know, electronic, almost like a Nine Inch Nails type of deal, but not quite. But I draw parallels with them. But yeah, Sleigh Bells, check them out. They're great. All right, what else we got? All right, here's an artist I just discovered. I heard her first on Sirius XM. It's a Angel Olsen, Big Time. This came out in 2022 on Jaguar Records. Okay, Angel Olsen, like I said, I just found out about her. I think she played. They had on Outlaw Country. They had played it on the title track, Big Time, which it's worth the money just for that song. I wouldn't necessarily call it country, but she's got a country sound. She's got a very old-timey sound to her vocals. Very indie, very folky, laid-back music. I haven't really, she has like 6 other records, I think. Haven't really gotten into her, her back catalog, but the song Big Time is, it's a killer, If you like real laid-back stuff, check out Angel Olsen. Again, I don't have much to say about her. The only thing I can tell you is her band's very good and her vocals are very old-timey, almost like she came out of a a band, like a band in the 50s almost, very old-timey and but very heartfelt and very, very cool. Angel Olsen, Big Time. All right. Here's one from my childhood, not childhood, my adolescent years. One of my favorite records, one of my favorite bands. This is Suicidal Tendencies, Feel Like Shit, Deja Vu, backed with Controlled by Hatred. This came out in 1989 on Epic Records. Suicidal Tendencies was a band that I had gotten into probably, I'm going to say the album before this one, which was How I Left Tomorrow. I Can't Even Smile Today. I got into them because they were like a skate rock band. I was into skateboarding at the time, and they were in all the magazines, Thrasher magazine and such. I got into them. This was an album that was right before they got big. This is right before an album called Lights, Camera, Revolution, which I think came out in 1990. But this was basically a collection of outtakes, covers, that kind of stuff. Most of the covers here were from a band called No Mercy, which was a band that Mike Muir, the singer, and Mike Clark, the guitar player of this band, they had in the 80s a band called No Mercy, and I had that cassette. I had ordered it from Thrasher magazine, and it was like hardcore, real punk hardcore, almost thrash metal, and it was a great cassette. I wish I still had it because it's worth a good amount of money. But you can listen to it on YouTube or Amazon or Spotify, whatever. But that was a great project. They also cover a band called Los Psychos, which I think, again, is another Mike Muir project. I'm not sure. But Suicidal, they always had different lineups and stuff. I love that first record. But in the later years, I like the stuff, the more thrash stuff they did too. But this one was like, I didn't stop listening to this as a kid. What was I, 14, I wore out like 2 or 3 copies of this cassette in my Walkman, And again, I can't really relate to Southern California culture like this, but something about this stuff really hit me, when you're a fucking teenager and everything's the end of the world, right? Whatever it be, whatever, went wrong in school, and you listen to this and you think it's really, these guys understand you. It's again, everyone goes through it. I'm sure I'm not special, but they're still around, Suicidal, but a completely different lineup. Nobody on this except for Mike Muir, I think, is in Suicidal now. So I don't know. And again, it's like a 50. Mike, how old's Mike Muir? In his mid-50s. That's tough for me to believe a guy like that. Still singing the same stuff that that I was listening to when I was 14, and I'm 47 now. So either way, it's great. If you want to check it out. Check out a Suicidal Tendencies record. I'd recommend this one. I'd recommend all of them up until Lights, Camera, Revolution, to be honest with you. But they did change every album. They changed almost every album, changed the lineup, changed something. But they were really good back in the day. One of my favorites, along there with Slayer. That was another band I loved as a teenager. Anyways, this is the last one, and certainly not least. This album, I've been waiting to get this one for a while. This is a repress. This is here. This is Black Crowes' Southern Harmony and Musical Companion on American Recordings. This came out in '92. This is not original, obviously. This is a repress. They did a good job on this repress. This was on my list of albums to get for a while, and it was going for a lot of money. But they finally did repress it, and I got it. I've told the story about this record before. I'm not going to rehash it. Basically, it's their second album, the Black Crowes' second album. After the first one, it's Shake Your Moneymaker. It has twice as hard on it. She's Talked to Angels, Hard to Handle, all the stuff that made them big. And then with that came a lot of criticism that they were just a knockoff Aerosmith band, a knockoff Faces, a knockoff Rod Stewart, a knockoff Rolling Stones. And they come up with this, which if you believe the stories, was written and recorded in 8 days and put out. This sounds like one jam session, I'll tell you that much, with recorded with vintage guitars, vintage basses, vintage amps. It's just a warm sounding record, and it does sound like a jam session. Every song kind of flows into each other, and it sounds like you're in there in the room listening to a band jam out on a bunch of tunes. Every song is good on here. I don't even need to go through it. Remedy off this. That's probably the only real obvious single that I see on here. But I mean, I know all these songs. I love all these songs. And yeah, Black Crowes, Southern Harmony. Again, I remember cutting. Again, I wasn't gonna tell the story, but I'll tell it anyways. I cut shop class to get this. Some older guy, I was in 10th grade. These guys were in 11th grade, or I was in 11th. They were in '92, so I was in 11th grade. They were probably seniors. And this dude knew I loved the Crowes, and he's like, "Yeah, that new album came out. You want to go get it?" And he remember cutting class, going to Tower Records in Massapequa to get it. And I've loved this one ever since. I listen to this all the time. It's been a constant in my and a constant influence on my guitar playing too. I used to play along to this album, every song, play along with it just to get the rhythm that Rich Robinson, you're one of the best, if not the best, rhythm guitar player of my generation. I put him right up there with rhythm guitar players. You want to talk rhythm guitar players? I'll put him right up there with Izzy Stradlin. I'll put him right up there with Malcolm Young. He's that good. And Steve Gorman, the drummer, best drummer of that band ever had, and really made the sound of that band. So yeah, that's it. And again, those are the 5 records I have. I have some more. I'm gonna have to make another video of it once I get into them. I'm finally getting around to listening to some of this stuff. So anyways, again, mark your calendar for February 18th, Wrecked, Mr. Beery's with Drunken Frankenstein. And we might be playing on February 4th, I'm not sure. This other band I play with called Blue Tattoo, which is more of a blues rock vibe. I don't write music for them. They write music and we do some covers, so I play with them. And we're going to be playing on February 4th, and I think Wrecked is going to do a set after them. I'm not sure though. I don't like to do double duty anymore, really. I'm getting old and it's getting, real, I put a lot into the performances, and I kind of get, I'm kind of over it by the time we finish, one set. So, but anyway, we have an opportunity, I'll do it. So, come check us out. But definitely February 18th, possibly February 4th. Stay tuned for the, you can check our Facebook, check our Instagram, see when we're going to play. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.